For years, Simba gave his son everything, except a voice. He built walls around Kofi's dreams, calling it protection. Kofi carried his silence quietly, burying who he really was to keep the peace. Then, one night, something in Simba finally broke open. He found the book. He made the call. Now came the hardest part, sitting down and finally listening. This is Chains of Love, Part 4.
Kofi arrived that Saturday afternoon to find his father in the kitchen. Simba had cooked. Simple food. Nothing grand, no explanation, no announcement. Just a pot on the stove and 2 plates on the table. Any African child who has ever had a father who doesn't cook knows exactly what that means. It means something shifted. It means the man standing at that stove is trying to say something he doesn't yet have the words for. They sat down together, and there between the 2 plates was the sketchbook. Neither of them touched it at first. They just sat with it between them, the way you sit with something that holds too much to be opened carelessly. Kofi spoke first, quietly, not with anger, just with the careful voice of a son who had learned a long time ago to choose his words slowly inside this house.
Where did you find it?
Simba told him.
Under the bed.
He was cleaning. He had almost swept it into the dirt pile without a second look. Kofi was quiet for a moment, because that answer was almost too honest to sit with. His father had almost thrown away the one place he kept his dreams, without ever knowing it was a dream. Then Kofi spoke, and this time he said everything he had never been able to say inside this house. Not with hatred, not with blame, just with the quiet truth of a young man who had been carrying something alone for far too long. He told his father he never hated him. He understood the sacrifice. He saw the sleepless nights, the skipped meals, the weight his father carried every single day just so the family could survive. He saw all of it, and he was grateful for all of it. But understanding why a cage was built does not make it disappear. He told Simba that he had spent years in law school feeling like a man performing someone else's life, passing exams that meant nothing to him, sitting in lectures that felt like borrowed clothes 2 sizes wrong on a body that was never meant to wear them. And the worst part was not the law school itself. The worst part was coming home and not being able to say any of it. Because in this house, the plan was the plan, and there was no room for how Kofi actually felt inside it. Simba listened. He did not defend himself. He did not explain his reasoning or say, "I did this for you," or "You don't understand what I gave up." He just listened. For the first time in Kofi's life, his father sat across from him and simply listened. And when Kofi finished, Simba was quiet for a long moment. Then he said the only thing that had come to him in all those hours sitting alone on his son's bed.
I gave you everything I never had, but I never once asked you what you actually needed. I thought love was given. I didn't know love was also listening.
Kofi looked at his father, and something that had been sealed shut inside him for years began slowly to open. He reached across the table, picked up the sketchbook, opened it to the family drawing, all of them laughing together around a table just like this one, the walls covered in color and art. Everyone present, everyone smiling. He slid it across to his father. He told Simba he drew that when he was 15, that every time things got hard, every failed attempt to feel something in that lecture hall, every night he almost gave up entirely, he would take that drawing out and look at it, not out of anger, but because it reminded him of what he was really working toward. Not the degree, not the title, the family at the table. His father, alive and smiling and present. The dream was never just about the art. It was always about giving his family the life they deserved.
just on his own terms, in his own way. Simba looked at the drawing for a long time. Then he asked the question he should have asked 17 years ago.
So, what do you want to do? Not what I planned for you. What do you actually want?
Kofi looked at his father, because those words, that question, were the first time in his entire life his father had asked them. He answered honestly. He would finish the law degree because he was almost done, and he was not a quitter. But after that, he wanted to build something with his art. He didn't have all the answers yet, but he wanted the chance to find out. Simba nodded slowly, then said simply,
Then finish it. And after that, I will be the first one to hang your work on my wall.
Not a grand speech, not a perfect father suddenly transformed. Just one step, one door opened carefully by a man who had been holding it shut his whole life, without knowing it. They finished the food together, the sketchbook open between them on the table, the house around them quiet, in a completely different way than it had ever been quiet before. Not the silence of two people living separately under the same roof, the silence of two people who had finally said what needed to be said, and were now simply resting in it. For the first time in a very long time, they were just a father and a son, sitting together at the same table. And it was enough. If you have followed this story across all three parts, then somewhere inside it you recognized someone. Maybe you recognized the father. Maybe you recognized the son. Maybe, if you are honest with yourself, you recognized both. Here is what this story is really asking. When was the last time you sat down with the people you love most and actually asked them how they are doing? Not their grades, not their career, not what the neighbors will say. Just them. How are they really doing inside? Families that talk to each other, that make time to sit together and understand each other's hearts, don't just survive. They build something that no job title or salary can ever replace. They raise people who walk into the world knowing who they are, knowing they were seen and believed in at home. And those are the people that society ends up looking up to. Not because they were forced into a mold, but because they were given the space to grow into something real. To every parent watching, your child does not need a perfect plan. They need to know that you see them, that you are curious about them, that your love for them is bigger than your fear of what the world will say. The same society you are afraid will look down on your child will be the first to celebrate them when they succeed at something they actually love. And to every child watching, your parents are not your enemies. Most of them are carrying fears they were never taught to put down. Meet them with patience. Give them the chance to learn about you. Because the conversation Simba and Kofi had at that table, it is never too late for that conversation in your family, too. The chain was never made of hatred. It was made of love that hadn't learned to listen yet. And love can always learn. If this story moved you, like it and subscribe to Chroniclesphere right now. Turn on your notification bell because more stories are coming that were made for exactly this kind of moment. Share this today with a parent, a child, a friend, or someone who needs to sit down and have the conversation they have been putting off. This is Chroniclesphere, where every story leaves a piece of itself inside you.